What is up with you guys? I hope you guys are having a very amazing day, because I am. I'm very excited to make this video because AMD finally released the 9070 XT and I managed to get my hands on one. From what I've been seeing online from Opium's video, Linus's video, this card has really outdone themselves. Before I speak specifically about this card though, I just want to preface this by saying NVIDIA actually took the L for once, and let me explain why. You see, the 50 series was probably the worst graphics card launch in like history. Micro Center received single digit units. Online availability is like non-existent for the 5080, 5070, 5070 Ti, 5090. Every single 50 series cards is not available. On top of it not being available, the 40 series cards halted production, which will result in the 40 series cards going up in price, which is crazy, 50 series cards not being available, and the 30 series cards are still relatively expensive, so good luck. It seems that AMD finally came and saved the day. Now, like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos on the 9070 XT, reading articles and posts and so. It seems to be performing between a 5070 and 5080 depending on the game, optimization, frame gen, so. I will be testing this in comparison to my 4070 Ti Super, but I will say this. Now, one, I'm not going to be using any frame gen, which means no DLSS or FSR for both of the cards. I'm going to be testing on high and ultra settings, and I also want to say I don't have a lot of resources. I'm just going to be playing some of the games in my library and doing some of the benchmarks, such as like Cyberpunk 2077 and like the benchmark that's built into that, Rainbow Six Siege, a bunch of little games here and there. Now, I fully expected to outperform my 4070 Ti Super because AMD's strong point has always been no AI and like raw performance. The reason a lot of people still choose NVIDIA though is because of the frame gen, better ray tracing, and better features. I've heard that the AMD card is not really too good for content creation. I heard it's good for gaming, but outside of gaming, I heard it's not really that strong. I've also heard the power consumption is a little off. From the 7900 XTX to the 9070 XT, they fit more compute units into a smaller chip, which means better ray tracing and faster calculations. Now, of course, when it comes to marketing, AMD and NVIDIA both try to like optimize everything as best as possible to like sell it to y'all. For example, they said the 5070 was going to be as good as the 4090, and it's like not even close. That was just straight up a lie. But from what I'm seeing, AMD truly did outdo themselves, especially considering that this is as low as $600 if you guys can find it for MSRP. Now, the 9070 non-XT is only $50 less than the XT, so I would 100% recommend getting the XT. So before we actually get to the testing, let me just say this. 1, 5070 to 5080 performance. 2, $600 to $800 depending on the model you get. And 3, FSR 3. And 4, way better online availability than NVIDIA's cards. For reference, me and my friends tried to get the 50 series cards when they launched, and we failed at all of them. But me and my friend managed to both get this 9070 XT, so the online availability is way better, and I'm still seeing them release them. I heard that AMD actually sent out a lot of third-party cards months before the release so that they had availability, and it clearly seems to be paying off. I've seen a lot more people be able to get their hands on this than an NVIDIA card. Now I'm going to quit talking, I'm going to unbox the graphics card, and I'm going to show you guys the numbers in comparison to the 4070 Ti Super versus the 9070 XT. Now, I just want to also repeat myself. This is not going to be a fully professional test. I'm using my resources, my games, and for reference, I'm pairing this with a Ryzen 7 7700X. Now, let's get to unboxing. So here it is, the 9070 XT, the overclocked edition. Now, I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how good of an angle this is, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. Let me grab my knife and let's get to unboxing. Now here's some of the information about it. If you guys want to go ahead and pause, system specification, the key features, the RDNA 4 compute units I was talking about, the 3rd gen ray tracing, and then some of the cooling features, reliability, and so on. So I actually really like the design of this Asus card specifically, so I'm excited to see how it looks when I actually unbox it. Well, let's get it unboxed. Time for the grand reveal. Okay, styrofoam, of course. Let's lift this up. Oh, it was upside down. Oh my goodness, this card is gigantic. Here it is, the Asus Prime 9070 XT, 16 gigabytes of VRAM, the overclocked edition. It is a gorgeous card. 3 plugins for the PCIe is crazy. I don't even know if I have this cable still. I have a fully modular power supply, so I might have to look for the other ones. Oh my gosh, this card is gorgeous. And I like how they have this little vent out in the side for exhausting the air. Now, before we get this on my computer, I want to test my 4070 Ti Super in some games and then compare it to this. So here are the tests for the 4070 Ti Super, and then I'm going to show you these tests. Okay, so the results are in. You guys just watched the test, and I watched them too. And I am honestly really shocked. My 4070 Ti Super with DLSS off, ray tracing on, and like high settings in Cyberpunk got 55 FPS in 1440p gaming. The 9070 XT got 150-ish frames in Cyberpunk without any AI, which is so crazy on 1440p. 9070 XT literally tripled the amount of FPS I was getting on my 4070 Ti Super without DLSS. Like, think about how crazy that is. Now, obviously, that's just one test, but in Borderlands, it was like relative, and Rainbow, it got a lot more. Now, I played a few games off camera. I played Silent Hill 2 Remastered, I played Resident Evil 4, and the 9070 XT outperformed my 4070 Ti Super. It wasn't a crazy margin, but the 9070 XT definitely performed better. Now, I got the Asus Prime Overclocked Edition. Now, overclock means it's higher clock speed, so it's going to perform a little bit better than the normal one. But yeah, do I recommend this card? It's an easy yes. Think about the fact that NVIDIA did fake marketing with the 4090 and 5070 being equal, and then the fact that it's impossible to get one of their cards, versus AMD constantly restocking these cards for MSRP for as low as $600 for 5070 to damn near 5080 type of performance for $600. This is 100% worth it. And clearly you guys saw from that Cyberpunk test that it does not need any AI. That 1080 Ti I know you still got, I think this might be the best upgrade to get.